Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on another exciting edition of StandPoint. I am Veronica Danik-Boy. The ongoing elective convention of the People's Democratic Party and the politics of 2019 is our talking point on the show today. Of course, some interesting scenarios have started playing out. Two of the aspirants from the Southwest, Olabode George and Jimmy Agbaje, have withdrawn from the chairmanship race. In the meantime, Senator Buruji Kashamu has been suspended from the party for 1 month. A lot seems to be happening at the Eagle Square, the venue of the convention. Let's link up with our senior political correspondent, Ayo Zubaku, who is right there in Abuja for more updates. Ayo, are you there? Can you hear me? All right, as soon as we can connect with our correspondent there, we will bring back the interview. Now, in the studio with me is a lecturer with the Pan-Atlantic University, Austin Nweze. Also in the studio is a lawyer and political analyst, Fred Nzako. Thanks for joining us.
Many thanks.
Thank you.
Well, so before the end of the day, the PDP will have a new chairman as well as other elected officials who will pilot the activities of the party and steer the PDP to victory in 2019. Will the party succeed in shunning money, politics, manipulation, and this time around opt for a truly democratic and transparent process? I'll start with you, Doctor. There has been some interesting happenings between yesterday and today, like we mentioned earlier in our intro. Two persons from the Southwest, have dropped from the race. And then we have Senator Buruji Kashamu been suspended for 1 month. And the convention is about to, start fully. What does this say of the PDP putting its act together?
Well, I think it's a normal thing for them to do. Some people will need to step down. A lot of horse trading going on. And, they have to really, about 5 of them from the Southwest, they need to consolidate their votes and also get support from other zones in the country. So it's turning out good. The excitement, the momentum is quite okay, and I hope that they'll get things right this time around. So and the man suspended, it's all politics, so that anyone that will put sand in the gari, you put the person away for a moment, and then after the whole process, then you recall the person.
All right, let's know if it is if it's an issue of putting someone who would put sand in the gari aside. We have Ayo on the line from Abuja. Ayo, 92 people jostling for 23 seats, like you told us yesterday when we spoke to you. Now, how is it going?
Thank you, Veronica. The thing started about midday, and all the delegates, most of them are here now, and members of the People's Democratic Party, their past leaders and former presidents, you can name it, they are all here. But without wasting time, I have the governor of Ekiti State, that is His Excellency Governor Ayo Dele Fayose, with me. And Fayose is a governor that has been interested in the activities of the People's Democratic Party, and his name has been popping up at any given opportunity. Thank you, Excellency, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir. When you look at today's convention, how well organized do you think this convention is?
Well, you can see it's very physical. You can all see that the convention is well organized. Nobody is shut out. Everybody that is supposed to be here, they are here. And I want to believe Nigerians are behind this party, and they believe in this convention. They believe in the success of this convention.
A lot of people have been talking about you and Governor Nyesom Wike, saying that the two of you're trying to foist a particular candidate on the PDP. How true is this, sir?
Well, there's no point joining issues. When you are a major player, you should expect anything, and or everybody could say whatever they like. But one thing is, they can't take it away from me that I have stood up for this party as I went due. I have paid my dues. I am one of the, if not the longest serving Nigerian governor. I have been very clear and have stood my ground as may be necessary. Whatever anybody says is not important in the issue. What is important is that we do the right thing. We've done the right thing, and I believe really Nigerians know that I don't compromise. I don't say things when they are not supposed to be said. I've made myself very, very clear, very explicit. So I believe whatever I'm supporting, whatever we are supporting today, will be in the overall interest of the country and the PDP at large.
Some of the aspirants stepped down yesterday, and some are still stepping down as at the time we got to this convention. And they are still talking cheap, but they just spoke about microzoning. Why didn't your party microzone the position of the chairmanship to the Southwest, since a Southwesterner has never occupied that position, Your Excellency?
You see, I want to respectfully appreciate Chief Bode George and all the leaders of the party for their contribution, for what they have given to the party. But there's no denying that these are belated excuses. Everybody signed undertaking with the party. They have severally gotten to where they are supposed to be, and they said it expressly that they believe that the chairman is zoned to the south. They've said it by themselves severally, and going back at this minute would be very disturbing. And I have personally called the aspirants in the southwest more than 5 times. The last was 2 days ago in my lodge, to appeal to them. One of you should please step down so that we can change, the game can change, so that we can streamline the process, so that we can have a say. But we can't make it unwieldy. At the end of the day, those who say they can't step down are gradually saying they are stepping down. So I respect them, and I'm not going to join issues. But the Lord God knows the heart of men, and knows that I've tried my best to make sure that we fight behind one man, one of them. But if that is impossible, what can I do?
Finally, Your Excellency, 2019, are you sure that this party, after losing in 2015 but to the All Progressive Congress, are you sure that this party can bounce back and reclaim the presidency?
Without doubt. The PDP, you can see the organization. Nigerians are sympathetic to our cause now. They realize that APC has not done anything better. Nothing new has happened. Rather, it's all about hunger, killings. The killings in Nigeria in the last 2.5 years, 3 years, if you aggregate, it's more than the killings since the creation, since the independence of this country. APC claim they are fighting corruption, but they are looters. They are doing terrible things, and they are making it a family affair. They are covering their tracks, and they believe that all they are holding on to today is power. If not, APC has gone as yesterday.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
That is the governor of Ekiti State, Governor Peter Ayodele Fayose, and trust him, ever very vibrant, and you can be rest assured that he will always say his mind. But the bottom line is that while this convention is going on, we still have all the delegates. The delegates we have here, there are over 2,000 delegates from 36 states across of the federation. And these people are trying to bring the People's Democratic Party together. I think I have another national officer of the People's Democratic Party. Hello, madam.
Thank you.
What's your name?
I'm Ambassador Fidelia Akwabata-Njeze.
All right. Now, looking at the People's Democratic Party, this is an attempt to bring the party back. How well have this convention fared?
Thank you very much. From the turnout today, you can see that people are really ready. People are poised, and they are excited to ensure that we get it right this time around. Because what I consider what is happening today is a litmus test, testing how prepared we are within the party. For the first time, we're trying to ensure that we practicalize internal democracy in the party by allowing every candidate that have indicated interest to run, to ensure that he or she runs. We're not imposing any candidate on any person. There's no imposition this time around. So what we are trying to do is to battle impunity in the party, because that was what actually dealt with the party before. So it was our greatest undoing, and we are trying to ensure that we fight against impunity in the party, because that is what will help us to elect credible candidates that will move the party forward in our bid to reposition the party for us to wrestle power back.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for this time you've given to us. Thank you. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
That's trying to wrestle the PDP and battle what they call impunity. But if you can see this, the ballot boxes are around here, and they are waiting, security men manning these boxes, and they are waiting to look at to start the process. But what just happened now, the governor of Bayelsa State, that is countryman Siriake Dixon, just raised the motion for the amendment of the constitution of the People's Democratic Party, and a lot of sections of the constitution was actually amended, and it was seconded. That is a precursor to what we are going to have today, the election. Finally, I also have another guest with me. Thank you for joining us on TVC.
Thank you.
What's your name, sir?
Dr. Bello Mohammed.
Oh, the former chairman of the People's Democratic Party. All right, looking at this party, the party was threatened, the survival was threatened in the last 1.5 years when it was factionalized. How happy and how sure are you that the People's Democratic Party is going to bounce back to its glory days?
Well, after 2 years of tribulation, I'm happy to say that the PDP has been restored. It has been placed on a pedestal by the people of this country. The response we have seen during our congresses at ward, local government and state level has assured us that the people of Nigeria are fed up with the failures of APC, and they are now looking up to PDP to salvage the country. As you know, the unity of this country was never more challenged than during the tenure of this government in the last 2 years. And the PDP is a pan-Nigerian party. We are the party of national unity, and the people of Nigeria have shown clearly that they are not ready to break up the country, and they are looking up to PDP to come up and set up the structures that will keep this country together. PDP will make sure every part of this country has a sense of belonging in the party and in the forthcoming government.
I want to thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck. That's the former chairman of the People's Democratic Party. And over to you, Lagos, Veronica on StandPoint.
All right, Ayo, before we let you go quickly, Buriji Kashamu, that Senator Buriji Kashamu, was suspended for a month, but we haven't gotten details. Possibly you could tell us more about that.
Yes, I told you earlier that some of the aspirants actually stepped down this morning. Jimmy Agbaje stepped down. Yesterday night, Chief Bode George stepped down. Chief Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja stepped down, and we still expect more, because the whole essence of this is that as many people that can step down from the southwest, it makes it easier and it brightens the chances of the southwest to clinch the chairmanship race. Don't forget, we just have 2 other candidates from other regions. We have Chief Raymond Aleogo Tokosi still in the race, and we have Chief Uche Secondos still in the race. So they are looking for a situation. From what you heard from the governor, he said they've been appealing and reaching out to this aspirant to step down, so that when we have one person, they'll be able to face the people from the south, so that for the first time, the southwestern part of the country can at least produce the next chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Veronica.
Thank you, Ayo, for the contribution live from the Eagle Square, where the PDP convention is holding. Gentlemen, you've heard from our senior correspondent there, and I'll bring you in now, Fred. Before Bode George stepped down, he made some allegations which I think Governor Ayodele Fayose said were belated excuses. But then, for such allegations coming up, what does he really say of a party that is trying to rebuild itself?
I don't think he says anything negative about the party. I think it's a function of the understanding of the fellow and the position he holds. Chief Olabode George had wanted a micro-zoned arrangement, in which case most of, if not all the aspirants will only come from the southwest. And then it was very clear that that was a position before the Port Harcourt episode, before the unfortunate Port Harcourt event, the convention that that scattered the party, that put the spanners in the wheel. After the judgment of the Supreme Court, the party had maintained in very clear terms that they have zoned the chairmanship of the party to the south, not southwest, not south-south, not southeast. And when you say south, there are 3 political zones in the south, and anybody can run for office of the chairman of the party from any of these 3 zones in southern Nigeria. And that is what Governor Fayose had made clear. And the chairman of the PDP Board of Trustees, Alhaji Wali Jibril, also made it abundantly clear yesterday in an address that they never micro-zoned the chairmanship of the party to southwest. So I believe it is the personal opinion of Chief Olabode George. And if he threw in the towel on that ground, I don't think it has hurt the party in any way. And what is important, I must say very quickly, that let the spirit and the interest of the party drive the process. Let nobody begin to go back to the bad days of going to court to undermine the interest of the party and all that. If he surrendered in clear terms on principle and then without any plan to hurt the interest of the party, it's all well and good.
And Doctor, you don't think that someone who is begrudged about an issue, that even after the convention, that couldn't or that can still have an impact on the party's unity?
As far as I'm concerned, Bode George could be a liability to the party, and because of his antecedents. And it's better for the party that he stepped down as he has done, and not much would be, because one, I believe that his relevance in the party is not as it used to be in the days of, Obasanjo in the past. So we have seen, some, even when the parties, when he says something, people are no longer, listen or do as he said, unlike in the past. So even when he brings up a candidate, it's no longer the same. Things are really changing in the party, and the party, from what I'm seeing and the report from Ayo in Abuja, it shows that yes, there's this, enthusiasm, to get back. But again, there's a danger there, in the sense that if they're not careful, in selecting someone that will really have the party's interests at heart. And again, the danger, another danger is, focusing on wrestling power in 2019. That could be very dangerous for the country.
The focus shouldn't just be wrestling power.
Yes, because that's where they're going from what I'm feeling right now. The vibes I'm getting is just to wrestle power back.
What should be the focus then?
No, it shouldn't be. The focus is how do we build a new nation using when they get to power, or even if to organize their party for the interest of the nation, building a new nation. Because we don't have a nation yet. How can we galvanize support and all that? And then, even if they get the power or not, but working with whoever wins 2019 presidential election to make sure that we have a better country. We don't have a country.
What do you mean by that? Because you need to clear the air on what you mean by we don't have a country, we don't have a nation yet.
We have a country, but we don't have a nation. Those are two different things.
Oh, yes.
Just break it down.
No, now, a country is a situation where people are only interested in what they can get. And you can see that there's no hard commitment to building a new nation. Nobody's talking about it. But a nation is people with the common goal. We cannot say that we have a common goal except when we play football. Nigeria is playing against another country. That's the only time we're a nation. You know? But all these people, all they're interested in is self, self, self. How can they use this political machinery to acquire wealth and oppress the masses?
But can we wish away the aspect of self from politics, the way it plays out in this country?
It's unfortunate that you cannot wish away the aspect of self in politics. But we want a situation where the nation, the interests of the people, the welfare of the people is put paramount, over and above the interest of individuals and the ambition of persons. What Dr. Nweze is saying is that the Nigerian political environment thinks less of the people and more of the players, thinks less of the welfare of the nation and more of the interests of the participants in the political process, thinks less of the future of Nigeria as one indivisible, united, development-oriented, growth-driven entity, and more of party affairs. And we have always maintained that such thought process will not lead us anywhere. It is very unfortunate that it is the challenge of the black race. It is the challenge of not only Nigeria, not only West Africa, but the challenge of Africa. And that is why you saw what played out in the immediate past about the inhuman treatment being meted on our people in a desperate bid to cross the Mediterranean, simply because there is lack of hope, there is lack of conscientious development and welfare of the people in black African soil. And in fact, that has even smeared the hope of and process of growth and development. So if politicians of all ilk, of all background begin to think more of the people, that's when you begin to form a nation. That's when you begin to solidify. But then the argument is this: given our historical experience, given our historical antecedents, is it possible to form a Nigerian nation under the current structure? The answer has always been no. And that is why people of my own conviction will continue to agitate and will continue to agitate that we restructure the foundation of this nation, of the foundation of this country, so that the micronations in Nigeria, which can now be formed and coagulated into a strong entity at the higher level of the Nigerian nation, so that the Nigerian country will now cease to be a mere geographical entity to become a nation, a nation of nationalities, where the welfare of everybody is protected, where the security of everybody, where the interest and growth and development of everybody is protected. We don't have that now. And at the end of the day, you now relapse to primordial sentiments of nepotism, ethnicity, religion, and tribe. Those are the things that are killing this country called Nigeria. And what my good friend, my brother Austin is saying, that 17 years down the line, and say counting in our democratic experience, we should be thinking less of politics and be thinking more of good governance. And good governance cannot come if you don't put good people in place. And that is why we want to salute to the efforts of PDP. Let them get it right in putting good people in place at their political platform, so that we can now begin to get it right in putting good people in place at the government level and begin to think of growth and development of Nigeria. I want to tell you, it is not yet Uhuru, but we must continue that march. The current experience is not savory at all.
Well, like you have rightly pointed out, it starts with getting it right with the selection process.
That's right, that's right.
But before we get to what getting it right through the selection process will do, how far will this convention go in unifying the party that is trying to be a formidable opposition to help democracy in this country thrive?
Well, it's a big challenge for the party, but this is just the beginning of the unity that the party needs. They will not be able to achieve that unity one day, like at this convention. After this convention, the person, a chairman, is selected, and his major job should be to begin this unity process, bringing the party, the members. Some will be aggrieved and all that.
But remember, they have 2019 in view.
Yes, but it won't take, before January, February, they must have done, if the new chairman is energetic and a bit charismatic, again, if somebody that people can listen to, and if he gets the right message of putting the nation first, the party second, and then the individual interests. And that should be his message. And not just, once he begins, if he does a good salesman's job of selling a new vision, a new PDP to these people, I think they will come down. And one of the challenges we have in our politics is that politicians don't feel that it's like, if they don't get it now, it's like they're going to die the next day, they will never get it. But they don't have their tolerance level is low. In politics, your tolerance level shouldn't be low. So if you don't get it now, find where you fit in. Look at the bigger picture, and not the myopic picture, which is about the self.
That leads to do or die affair.
Yeah, leads to do or die affair.
And crisscrossing.
Crisscrossing because of, some ambition that is, uncalled for.
But possibly it's because they feel they could salvage the situation and change the narrative.
Sorry, before you get to Fred, I'm just saying that, look, in politics, you have to know where it's like a calling. You know what you're called for to do in the party. Some are not supposed to go for elected position. Some are supposed to bring in their money and support the party. Some are supposed to, do one or two things. But everybody wants to be the leader. And it's not possible.
Yes, Austin, the challenge lies in the unfortunate fact that we don't have political party ideologies.
All right, we'll come to that when we return from the break. Stay with us. Well, you're still watching StandPoint, and we still have in the studio Dr. Austin Nweze and Fred Nzako. And before we went on the break, you were talking about, Fred, you were talking about we not having political ideology.
Yes.
We want you to expatiate on that.
Yeah, yes. It's very unfortunate that upon the return of party democracy, civilian democracy in 1999, we expected that the gains of 1979 to 1983 would have been consolidated upon. Yes, there was a long military interregnum, but at least some of the political actors that played in 79-83 were also still around in 99 going forward. And we don't seem to have done better than the era of 79 to 83, when at least you could know what the MPN stood for, what the UPN stood for, what the MPP stood for, PNG, MPP, and PRP. At least every political party had a particular ideology, had a particular program. And that swayed the electorate, that swayed the supporters. That was, the particular party was known for a particular thing. From 1999, we've been trying to pin down what these parties are really known for. In the absence of such ideology, that is why you see people very seamlessly crisscrossing from one party to another. Very seamlessly. Some may even move 2 times in a year, and it really doesn't matter. For every time there is an election coming, you now sit down, decide where your bread will be better buttered, and then you decide where you go and pick the form. The very moment you pick the form, irrespective of what the party is thinking about, then there you are. Even though some people will tell you that the origin of all those parties, the historical origin of all the parties was a major factor. The only party, I can tell you without fear of contradiction, that had seemingly ideological underpinning was the PDP because of its historical origin, originating from the G34, the group of 34 eminent Nigerians headed by the late former Vice President Dr. Alex Ekwueme.
What was its ideology?
The ideology was one to bring back civilian democracy, rule of law, fundamental principles of human rights, development for the nation, and welfare.
And would you say while they were in power, they were able to achieve this?
I'm coming. By the time the party got registered, by the time APP was being registered, APP stole its constitution and mandate from the PDP. As a matter of fact, late Chief Bola Ige will tell you that he lost the constitution of APP, and that a lot of the things that he wrote about APP were things that he took from the PDP. The then Action Congress, AC, when it came to be, also had the same or similar historical antecedent. So that now tells you that if the 3 pots of soup were prepared by the same hands, then they were tasting similar. That was exactly what happened. But we now expected that going forward, from experience of history, from experience of democratic practice and the demands and dynamics of human life, that these parties would naturally be distinct. But what we find out is that the parties are not distinct. The common denominator among all the political parties, now 34 of them, sometimes they went to as high as 120-something political parties, and now there are 30-something of them. The common denominator is power. And it is extremely unfortunate that a political party only thinks about State House, that a political party only thinks about power. And that is why sometimes what they do with that power becomes a different ball game. That's why many people are criticize the PDP that they did not deliver the goods, and they are even more criticizing the APC of the now that they are just not delivering the goods. Nigerian people are still expecting that the dividend of democracy should come to them. Dividend of democracy is not to go and tar road, go and do borehole, go and do constituency project. Dividend of democracy
it's part of it, isn't it?
It is
given.
It is ephemeral part of it. It is ephemeral, tangential part of it. The core dividend of democracy is ideology. And that ideology will now sit down in the people and then galvanize the energies of the people towards moving the nation forward. Such dividend is lacking. And that is why, as we speak, many years after our democratic experience, we seem to be groping in the dark. To the extent, sorry, my brother, to the extent that last year, some people, or even early this year, there was rumor about coup plot. That tells you that we are still very far from where we are going to.
Even in any democracy, you have to have some kind of succession plan, develop the people. The focus is the people. Every ideology any party has about the people. Now, we don't have the people that could take over from the next, the next generation
of our leaders. Yes.
No, we don't. And that's why this recycling business is going on.
It's going on.
Because there's even the APC, the PDP, the SDP, and all that. They are not even grooming people. You need people to sustain democracy.
Why is that happening? Why are we shifting from the ideology and building structures?
There was no ideology in the first place. We copied from the United States.
No, he mentioned there used to be an ideology.
Yeah, but
how come we shifted from that?
The thing is that people became more interested in what they can acquire, using the political power they have to acquire economic wealth, and using that wealth to oppress the people and sustain themselves in power. That's exactly what's going on.
Exactly.
Both in Nigeria, in Africa, anywhere in Africa. Nobody understands what development is. Nobody understands, wants to do anything for the people. Meanwhile, governance is about the people. Now, in the United States that we copied from, what separates the Republican Party from the Democratic Party is simple. One is the tax system. Now, the Republicans are more business inclined. They're saying, look, help reduce the tax, the way you tax the rich, so that the rich will use that money to expand businesses and employ the poor. But the Democratic Party says, no, let us bring the poor from their poor level to at least elevate them up by reducing the taxing the rich more, and then, taxing the poor less, so that they'll be able to survive, which is more social inclined. That's the only thing that separates them. But today, APCO, PDP, there is no difference. They're all the same. There's no difference. There's no difference. Who constitutes? I heard someone say that they went for a meeting, APC meeting, and one of the ministers, 7 ministers, told them that 2019 election is a foregone conclusion, that they're going to wrestle power and get this power in the state, the government of the state, because those people that used to rig election for PDP, they have now come to APC. So they can be rest assured that they will retain that power. Is that what somebody should be talking about? Is that the ideology? No. So you find that those that decamp in the crisscrossing and all that, is really, not helping matters, because there's nobody like one of the 6 things that Mahatma Gandhi talked about, politics without principle. There's no principle. There's none. So they're all going to where their bread is better buttered. That's what's going on.
Well, Fred, we have 2019 coming at the door right now, and Nigerians cannot just give up on the fact that we need to bring people in. And we've been hearing talks about we have to change from one person or the other who are interested or showing interest in, wresting power, saying that, or interested in the seat at the State House, saying that we need to change this, we need to change that. And I mean, should we just give up hope from looking at what Dr. Fred is saying? Or how do we change the narrative?
Isn't it a shame of sort that in 2017, just 2 years after 2015, politics has occupied the whole space?
Should it be a shame?
It should be a shame.
Why is that?
It should be a shame because development has not happened. What have we achieved since 2015? Virtually little or nothing. Why are we more interested in politics than governance? Shouldn't it be a shame that the standard of living of the people, instead of improving, is dropping? Shouldn't it be a shame that in the midst of growing population, we don't even know how many we are? Shouldn't it be a shame that unemployment is increasing? What is the future of Nigeria, if I may ask?
What is the future? Is this party politics that actually has kept us down the way we are?
Now, at the end of the day, the only thing that happens is politics, politics, politics. Meanwhile, what is the whole essence of politics? It's supposed to be, what I mean, civilian, because there's politics everywhere, but civilian democratic politics is supposed to only be a vehicle, a transit vehicle, through which leaders will be determined
serve the people
in a plebiscite or in a referendum or in an election. But there must be a credible process of determining who sits on the saddle. The very moment that determination is done, the man takes up leadership. And then the very moment he takes up leadership, he hits the ground running, and the next thing is governance.
But so far, the process has been credible.
Who told you so?
Let me just say this also. Let me just say also this. Now, Nigeria's future, future in terms of election, development and all that, will not come from APC, will not come from PDP. We need another vehicle of credit, because the credit...
Another party, you mean?
Yeah, if it's another party, fine. But again, look...
How are we certain that it's not the same crop of persons that will make up this party?
The process, this process will not throw up the right candidates that will develop this nation, that will have the development of this nation at heart. We don't.
Why do you think
process, so? Those people that are out there, they don't have the money. And politics about money. They don't have the money, deep pocket that you need. And again, those that have the money feel threatened that when this will come in now, their interest may not be
So what do we do?
Now, we need to have people that, maybe people that are a bit conscientious, that will be even within these parties, and have what I call the concept of tragic hero. Now, a tragic hero concept is a situation whereby a new chairman is selected for the parties, a new president comes up, which I expected that Buhari would have been that tragic hero, but unfortunately, he's not.
He still has some years.
Each year. He has done, there is nothing that is going to happen from January 1st, 2018 to the next election. It's all about politics.
How you can't totally rule that out.
No, nothing will happen. Any other thing is just to placate the people to get vote, to be nice to the people.
But he hasn't come out to say that he is coming out.
He is already in Kano. He said that
he went to commission projects.
Yeah.
So he didn't go there to say that.
No, he said with the support that the people that came out, I've participated in this process. Each time we go up, people are being paid to come to fill up the space. People are being paid. They hire them. But he said, okay.
Those persons were hired?
Of course. It's possible they're hired.
I don't think so. But you can't categorically say that.
No,
anyway.
I'm saying that politicians have ways of hiring people to fill up the crowd. And when you say that, because of the crowd now you see, it would not be nice for the president to come to a stadium or any venue and you have empty seats. Those that arrange the thing, the president may not know. But they have to go and fill up the space. Now, we're clapping and all that. At the end of the day, 1,000, 2,000, they go. So, but the point is that we need people outside of this, even if they're using this platform, okay, to do that. A tragic hero concept is what we need right now. The people can say, okay, let's move into PDP, let's move into APC, let's move into SDP, and then contest elections, and when you come, we'll restructure this nation. Nobody amongst them will be able, to say that he or she will risk his or her life or position and all the compliments that go with the office to say that they're restructuring. They're being Machiavellian. Those that benefit, from the system, from the status quo, find it difficult to change.
All right, but Fred, Atiku has been singing the song of restructuring, and he has moved back to the PDP. Could he be the tragic hero that Doctor is talking about?
Apart from the tragic hero concept, which Doctor talked about, I have sometimes talked about the concept of benevolent dictator. We thought when Buhari started that he was going to be a benevolent dictator, the way he started. But we found out that we didn't get exactly that. And the concept of the tragic hero he's talking about lies in the realm that somebody must sacrifice, even if it means sacrificing ultimately for the sake of this country. But the question is this. Tiwa Danjuma said that Nigeria is what worth dying for. What will make Nigeria worth dying for? That is the question. It is not money. It is not perks of office. It is the ideology of nation building. And then you cannot formulate and sustain ideology of nation building in an environment that is so warped that you render services, you are received with a backlash. You put in your very best, you get the very worst. Where heroes as villains are celebrated and heroes are disdained. You cannot get such a nation. And that is why I am of the concept and of the view that leaders at all levels have responsibility to lead this nation. But when we say leaders, people will very easily think we are talking about political leaders. They're only a microcosm of the leadership structure that we are talking about. The ones that will change this nation are the religious leaders. If they will carpet their unbridled greed and avarice and speak truth to power and tell the people the direction that God-given talent has endued them to tell the people, that way the people will begin to, the scales that have been covering the eyes of my fellow Nigerians will begin to drop off.
I asked the question.
The political leaders have refused to give them education and literacy so that they will continue to remain subdued. Other leaders will try the political leaders and then lead the people to wisdom and knowledge.
I needed to quickly answer the question I asked because you've been talking about restructuring, which he also mentioned, and I said that Atiku had been drumming up or singing that song, and now he's moved back to the PDP. Could he be that tragic hero we're talking about? Does he have the qualities in your view? I would like Fred to quickly answer that question because we are running out of time.
I have answered you in person, but if you want it very directly. To start with, Atiku left APC because, in his own words, that APC has failed the nation. In his own words. And then he has done a comparative analysis of both governments, PDP and APC, and he felt that PDP fared better. And then he has moved back to PDP to take it up from where PDP stopped before APC truncated PDP. In his own words. His words may not be gospel, but those are his own words. And it does not mean that now that he has moved back, that he has automatically become the tragic hero that we are talking about. It does not also mean that he has already been given the ticket. And even having the ticket does not mean that he has already been elected the president.
No, we are not saying that. We are just saying, do you find that in him?
Whoever that gets that,
only
time will tell. Yes. And our position is that whoever finds himself on that seat must know that to whom much is given,
much is expected. Quickly, Doctor.
Now, it is possible that Atiku could become that tragic hero because he has nothing to lose. He's a rich man, he has everything, and all that. So it's possible. That the question I have for him, and also ask one of his assistants, is Atiku interested in just becoming Nigeria's president? Or is he interested in nation building? Those are two different things. We need a president that is interested in nation building, not someone that, like someone said, that it's not about, becoming president, but, preparing to become president. I'm interested in someone that will build a new nation, not someone that will become president. So if Atiku is interested in becoming that tragic hero that will build a new nation, I will support him, personally. And that's what I'm interested in. But any other thing, I'm out.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Dr. Austin Gweze and Fred Nzako for your time on Standpoint. And that's how we wrap up the show today. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, you can catch a repeat of the show tomorrow by 7 a.m. on the same channel. I'm Veronica Dan Ikpoy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.